listeners to Crossing Borders, podcast that is not about immigration. I am your host, Sid, also known as Whitney, and this is my wonderful co-host, Josh, also known as Mythic. Grab your
Hello.
passports and join us for episode numero 12, where we will be talking about education across borders. And this is part 3. If you haven't seen the other 2 parts, check them out first and then come back. But first, let's catch up with each other's week before going into this episode. So, Josh, do you have a story to share?
I do. I have stories to share. Again,
Ooh.
I know, insane. But first things first, I think we need to correct Squidney or Sid for saying the episode number wrong. It's episode 13, boy.
What?
Today's episode 13 is about education across borders. Although, I do have a story. So, literally today, I almost died again. This is insane, right?
Oh my gosh, you gotta stop doing this.
I know, it's not in my control.
Someday it's gonna happen.
Well, it's gonna happen to all of us. Oh man, that's dark. Anyway. So today, I was riding public transport as per usual, as I have talked about in episode 7, I think, about the mafia thing.
Was that episode 7?
I remember what's it called? So I went in the bus and bada bing bada boom, traveling for like I mean at least 13 kilometers. I think it's for around 1.5 hours, which is pretty long. But in the middle of it, when I was riding, I was like watching downloaded YouTube videos on my phone, and then I'm like, smells different in here, doesn't it? I mean, it usually smells quite bad from like people's sweat and stuff.
Today it smelled even worse.
Today it smells different. Like it's worse somehow. Yeah, you are correct on that part.
Yes.
And then since I wore wireless earphones, but I only wore one of them, so I can still hear the announcer announce what station we're stopping at next. And then I was like, the engine sounds different. I wonder what's happening.
Uh-oh.
But then, after I'd say like maybe 10-20 minutes, the smell got way worse. I'm like, is something wrong with me? I'm smelling something really bad.
Am I slowly breaking?
Everybody else around me has no reaction, like zero reaction. I was like, am I crazy? Like maybe I'm just like smelling things that I shouldn't be. I don't know. I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'll stay quiet. But then it got worse. The engine noise started going really weird, and then people have a reaction from said weird noise from the engine. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy after all. I guess I did smell something. And then the guy beside me was like, what's happening? Like, what's wrong with the engine or something like that? And then I was like, I don't know. I'm not the engineer, clearly. But then on the next station, the conductor told everyone to hop off the bus. And apparently, I think something was clearly wrong with the engine, and it was spewing out smoke.
Yeah,
so,
that's a pretty clear sign that something's wrong with the engine.
Yeah, but I've never experienced that before. Like in my life, I've never experienced such an emergency of like having to evacuate out of a burning building or something like that. So doing that for the first time, like actually people rushing out of the bus just to get to the safe place is like, whoa! This has never happened before.
What's this? Safety?
Sort of in a bit of a shock. Yeah.
Huh.
So that's how I almost died. I don't know. I mean, it's probably not too bad. It's not
pretty sure you wouldn't have died, but
I mean, still, it was a thrilling, one would say.
I mean, it could have exploded right after you left.
It could.
So.
Well, we don't know about that. Well,
immediately after you stepped off the bus, it burst into flames. Everyone starts screaming, and we just walk away, all cool with sunglasses.
Walk away,
like, oh yeah,
with my sun. I was about to say the sunglasses thing. Oh my god, we had the same. We had the same thing in mind.
Great minds think alike.
Yes, I know. We are
Sunglasses
clearly
are
super high.
cross-cultural icons of coolness.
Yep,
It's just an innate
lovely.
human thing. It's coded into our biology to think sunglasses are
Definitely.
cool.
Oh, that's hilarious. Although, on the way back, this time I'm not riding on a bus. I ride the train.
Ah,
The train's fine. I think nothing's different or anything.
did he give you
But
a
after I
cool
hop off the
poem?
train, I'm sorry, what?
Did he give you a poem this time? The train dude.
No, this is once a boring guy. It's just like,
Ah,
doors open, and then doors close or door open. Like, I
ah.
don't like. They definitely. I've seen a meme or like a funny video made by Stephen He, if you know about him.
Stephen, he is
About
awesome.
okay, apparently you know about him.
He's
That's nice.
hilarious. Like actually,
Hilarious as in like I can relate as well. You know, like oh, that's
yeah, I
happened to me
can't
before.
relate, but
Like
he's just funny anyways. So.
there's a video he did about like announcers doing an audition.
Yeah.
And then the more unclear it is, the more like the employer was like, "Bravo, this is amazing. This is art."
Beautiful.
I was feeling that when I was writing the train. Like, how did this guy get to be the train controller again, the announcer or whatever? Oh dear. Although when I came back, so I ordered like an Uber, but here we call it Grab. We've talked about this in episode 7.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's a great episode. We talk about mafia as well, so you know if you're interested, go check it out.
Yeah.
And while you're down there, you know, why not hit subscribe, hit a follow, get great
Yes.
episodes every single week. What more can you ask for? Am I right?
Comment something about my hair.
Yes, you've never seen Squidney's hair, but one day you'll see it because after this whatever recording we're doing, I'm definitely asking Squidney for something relating to hair. Anyway,
What?
that aside, that
Excuse me?
aside, that aside, when I was riding back
Okay.
on the motorbike from the station, I passed this big river that I was talking about in episode 3. You guys can also listen to that episode, a great one as well. Where in this river is one of the dirty ones, the one that you can clearly see how brown it is. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a really cursed chocolate milk with black spots on top of it. And then
Cursed
I
chocolate
see
milk.
this guy, you know, holding off his what's it called wagon of like you know snacks that he sells like maybe on the side of the road and drinks.
Like a little cart.
And I see him washing like one of the
Oh, no.
like glasses and the plates using
In
the
the
river's
ice.
water, and I can
Uh.
clearly see. And I mean, I'm like, whoa. Well, that made my stomach feel something, but man, that is a. I was like, oh, okay.
Did you
Guess
buy
I gotta
from
be
him?
careful of these guys. I didn't, but
It would
I've
have been
seen.
so
I mean,
much
like,
funnier. It would have been
yes.
so much funnier if, like, you're like, oh, can I, you know, you buy something from him, and then you're like taking it away, and then you turn around and see that right there, and you're like,
That would have been funny, yeah. But I mean, not funny for me, funny for the
What have I
whoever
done?
listening to this story.
yeah. I would have thought it was
Um,
hilarious.
Well, that's just so you, man. What can I say?
I
Oh,
think
dear.
everyone's misfortunes
Um,
are hilarious, including my own. After the fact, of course.
Are you secretly a psychopath? You know, 1 in 100 people.
No, I just seek happiness in everyone, but their suffering also brings me joy.
Interesting.
kidding.
Interesting. We might have learned something here about Sid today.
I'm not a psychopath, I promise. I'm a sociopath. No
Okay.
shit.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I know where you
Well,
live.
regardless of what Sid is, that's all about my story. So you may. What about you? What's been happening with this crazy life of yours?
Well, your story reminded me of something that happened last week on my commute
What?
to work.
Hold on a minute. I thought you said you had no story before we started recording.
Yeah, but you reminded me of a story, so
Well, that's
I shall
not
tell it
fair.
now.
Okay, all right, keep going. I was sort of like hoping you had like, okay, so this week I actually have no idea what to tell a story about,
I
or
ate a
something like that.
bagel for breakfast today. It was pretty good. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so last week, um, it snowed. Uh,
That's nice.
it snowed really good.
Is it?
And it was really icy outside. And
Ooh.
I was hoping they would cancel school. It would be a snow day, so we'd get school off. I'm not a student at the school.
Ooh.
I work as a substitute teacher for anyone
An
listening
annoying
who doesn't know.
substitute teacher.
Yeah,
On
so
that
I get
note,
paid to go to school, which is much better than just going to school, I assure you.
where you have to pay to go to school and you have to go to school.
I love money. Anyways, so I wake up and school is not canceled, unfortunately. Although it should have
No.
been. If I was in charge, it should have been canceled. Not because I wouldn't have to go to work, but because the roads were in a hazardous condition.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So most of the time after it snows, it's a little bit slick in some places, but most of the time, if you're careful, like not like, oh my goodness, I'm so careful, but like as long as you're cautious, you'll be fine. Um, most of the time.
Most
However,
of the time.
the roads were like so slick, it was absurd. So I think it was,
Okay.
I don't know, like an episode or two ago, I mentioned I live in a cul-de-sac. So the road I
Mm-hmm.
need to take to uh, the school is I just go straight out from my house, down the road, and then turn onto the highway. So
That's nice.
I get up there. There's a school bus that stopped there, or it was about to stop there to pick up kids because that's a bus stop. And so I start to go before it stops, so it's still legal. Um, and I'm barely moving forward, not because I wanted to, but because I was slipping out so much. I was
Oh
intentionally like
no.
barely pressing down the pedal, and I was still like slipping out, and I was barely crawling into the lane. And I'm like, okay, come on, come on. And then something incredibly interesting happened. Nobody was hurt. I will proceed
Oh.
with that, so you guys don't have to skip
Oh.
ahead.
Okay.
Everyone was fine.
Okay.
So there were two cars coming down the other side of the road. So the bus comes from the left, and I was turning right. So we were both in the right lane.
All
Um,
right.
and then there was two cars coming on the opposite direction. It's a two-lane road, so one lane going both ways. So there are two
Definitely. Yep.
cars. And since the bus was there, it was just stopping. So they had to come to a stop. And there's a hill right there, so you can't really see far ahead. It
Oh
happens to
no.
be the place where um, everyone in my family except me got rear-ended because of a hill, but that's a different story.
All right.
Um, I wasn't even there. It was, anyways. So it's slick. The first car, like they both need to stop because that's the law. When there's a bus stopped, you stop so that you don't run over children on accident.
Yeah.
Which I would
Yeah.
say is a pretty good
Okay.
law to have. So they're
Definitely.
slowing to a stop, but the thing is they're not slowing to a stop because it's slick.
Oh.
So the
Oh.
first one, the first car is kind of it's slowing, but it's not slowing very fast. Like you can tell they're trying to slow down, but they're just sliding at this point,
Oh
and they're kind of like
no.
wobbling back and forth too. Uh, and then the car behind them is going slightly faster than them.
Oh,
Um,
that's. Oh.
and I don't,
Good.
I don't know how it happened, but the second car was like spinning almost. It was
Oh.
like it was
Oh.
almost like not parallel, perpendicular to the road. So it was almost sliding sideways, and it managed to like slip between the bus and the car in front of it, and just continue down the
Oh
highway without like
my
hitting
god.
anything. I'm like, what is happening? It was
That's
like
an
straight from
interesting.
an action movie, except without people with guns. And I was like, holy cow, what the heck just happened?
What? That sounds
That
insane. What?
it should have been a car wreck. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't, but like,
Yeah, but whoa! I mean,
Like,
I bet
I was like,
you the driver inside there is like,
"Dang."
whoa! I just did an insane thing.
Yeah.
Whoa!
The driver's like, oh my gosh, oh, my life flashed before my eyes. And I totally missed my whole John Wick moment right there. I should have got that on camera. That was awesome.
Oh,
But yeah, it was
oh,
actually
dude, you
insane.
should have gotten that on camera, man. I mean,
I
you put
know.
that
I should get a dash
viral,
cam so I can catch these things on camera.
man. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh man, I love that.
But yeah, the roads were terrible.
Well,
on
we're
the way
glad
to
no
work.
one's hurt though.
Yes, we
We're
are
glad no
greatly
one's
glad.
hurt.
Very
Oh.
glad. Greatly glad. What the heck? But no, the roads were terrible. And everyone at school was complaining about it. That brought up the snow. They're like, "Oh my goodness, the roads were terrible." I don't know. I heard rumor of, I don't know, an upside down vehicle in a ditch somewhere, and I'm like, dang, they should have
Oh,
canceled
no.
school.
They definitely should have.
Pretty sure everyone
Well,
was okay though.
that was an interesting story, though. I gotta say, that was way more interesting than a bus engine going to smoke. But then
Yeah,
again,
my bus starts smoking, and I'm like, well, guess what?
I have a John Wick moment here, my man. What can I say?
Yeah.
Oh well.
My
Today we're
life's an
talking about
action movie.
yeah. I mean, all of our lives are at some point, unless if you don't
I mean,
get that moments, well, then you just
hopefully,
gotta be a sad boy.
I know.
I don't know. Action scenes in real life are scary, so I don't know if I'd
But then-
want them to be
But
completely
then
honest.
afterwards, if they weren't like, if nobody got like seriously injured, or like seriously traumatized, and afterwards you're like, okay, that was actually kind of intense. That was a good story
That
to
was
tell
pretty
for a
cool.
hypothetical podcast I have. You know?
I know. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Well, today we're talking about education across borders, where Squidney here is from, again, let me reiterate the whole gist of our podcast. I am from Indonesia, and Squidney, or Sid, is from America, where he apparently high school starts at grade 9, isn't it?
Yep, that is correct.
Well,
Correct.
my high school starts at grade 10, so that's an interesting fact.
Okay.
How many years are in high school for you?
4. 9
Ha.
to 12.
We only have 3. Well, technically
Oh,
10 to 12, so it's basically the same.
Yeah.
But regardless, it is pretty fun, I must say. High school's pretty fun.
Yeah, high
at
school
least
was the
in my
best.
experience. All right. So in my high school, we have a lot of lessons. So basically, from transitioning between middle school to high school, you have to pick a major you want to study. It's either the
interesting.
social studies major, which you will learn geography, economy, social studies, obviously, and also history.
Okay.
But if you pick the science major, you'll only learn not only learn, but you'll learn specifically the math, biology, physics, chemistry, all the good stuff.
Okay.
But outside of those major lessons, you still have the must lessons. So these must lessons, and both majors have, so you will get them regardless, which I kind of hate because I don't like most of them. But we have, let's see, on the must category, we have English, obviously, and then we have wait, hold on, let me think. We have PKN. PKN, if you definitely won't know what PKN is, but Indonesians, you probably know what I'm talking about. PKN is basically a lesson where we basically learn about the intricacies of the law in our country, specifically the like ideology and all that. So basically to keep our nationalism high. Is the whole point of that lesson. And then
that's cool.
we have, what's it called? On one of the religion, where you can probably tell. And then the thing that I told you about, the lesson where you are taught life skills, so that's cool. And then you learn Indonesian, obviously, and the last one I think is Mandarin. That's already quite a lot of lessons. I didn't count how many there was, but if anyone's counting, well,
There's a lot.
that's that. And then for the major one, you can either pick again the social studies or the science. So on the social studies, for like history, you learn like the world's history instead of just the Indonesian history. Since in the major of science, you still learn history, but it's just the Indonesian history. So you can see the difference. And then on the social studies, what's it called? Major, you still do learn math, but you learn like the basic, not exactly basic math, but the must math, or like the stuff you learn in high school, but not the hard one. So they don't learn things like calculus. They don't learn things about like limit, I think. And then they don't learn things about basically the hard ones are saved for the science major. So if you graduate high school as for example, a social studies major, you can't go to university with the like a profession to be a doctor like that, or a profession to be a scientist or whatever. Like you have to go with the major that you picked since high school, and then. For the science major, you can't go. For the science major, it's sort of weird because if you're in a science major, you can still go to the social studies sort of professions kind of major in the grand scheme of university, which means most people think like, oh, you know what, it's beneficial to just go in science, and I can think about what to pick later. I don't have to pick a profession I want to be as soon as high school, but one downside is the science major is really hard, man. Come on, so in my class or like in my school, our classrooms, we have like one side of the wall is just like big windows where you can people on the outside can see inside and we can see outside on the corridor.
You can see the freedom outside.
Yeah, you can clearly
Long for the day to be over.
Yeah, that was me. I'm like, when's the school over again? These people can clearly see, like, when most of the time the social studies major class will be like, laughing, having fun, and then when you look beside them into the science class, and just like all gloomy, all very dark, looking down at their tables. And
some of them are crying.
I can sort of relate to that because I was in science major and I was like, oh man, this is hard. What can I say? But my friend who was in social studies major, I was like, why do I see them online on Steam playing games so often while we're like studying? This is not fair. What is this?
How do they have 1,200 hours in No Man's Sky? What is this?
That's like, what? You have time to play, but we have like chemistry and physics exam tomorrow. Well, we have nothing. What? Oh man, yeah. I guess if you want to, I guess one of the big difference in social stuff or like recreation. If you want to be like more free to do something, you would pick social studies major. Even though later on, when you're picking what you want to be as a profession, that will be sort of limited. And then, besides the science major and the social studies major, you have to pick an arts major. So there's two art where you can pick either music or the I don't know how to translate to English, but the other art, the drawing, the sculpting, whatever you're making.
Oh, that's just art.
That's just art. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's just art. Either you pick art or music. I picked music at the time, and my teacher, oh man, he is the greatest man alive. What can I say? He's very smart at everything. And when I say everything, I do mean everything. He could play the violin really well. He could play the piano. He could play really cool drums. He could play oboe. He could play bass, electric guitar. A thing called kolintang. You probably don't know it, but it's a bamboo-based musical instrument. And then he could play guitar. He could play he could literally play anything. Like I've never seen a man alive um, playing that
So
many
talented.
instruments, and I was like, whoa. I was literally taken aback. Like, this man's a genius. Like
This
he
man
was like,
doesn't have. This guy has too much time on his hands.
I I know I believe like on the first day or on the one of the lessons, like one of the first lessons that we got, he showed
Yeah.
off a music he made where it's basically just him playing every single instrument. I was like, whoa, that sounds cool.
Impressive.
I know, and I learned how to play drums from him. I was interested to play drums, but I've never like actually learned to play drums properly until I've met this guy. I was like, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm gonna learn from this guy.
I've had my
it
share of percussion. Not really drum
was
set, but more bells and vibraphones, marimbas and stuff.
well, still, this guy's insane. Let me tell you that much.
This is a music man.
The one with the cymbals? FNAF? Oh no.
No, he's not that music.
Wait, oh no! I mean, that will be quite the plot twist if he is.
Plot twist: he's actually a doll.
Oh no! But that's not true. I mean, definitely not true.
Oh,
I think it's not true. I don't know if it's true. It's not
what
true.
What is it? Oh,
we may never know. I guess
we may
subscribe and find out.
You'll have to get him on the podcast and ask him that question.
Maybe one day. He's a busy man. I mean, he had a kid. I think last time I heard. So he's pretty busy.
That does tend to make people busy.
Yeah,
having a child.
Well, regardless, no. Anyways, I do have more stuff to tell, which is like, for example, in one of the chemistry. I hate chemistry. Okay, maybe not hate. I despise chemistry.
Oh.
I used to like chemistry when I was in middle school, but then as soon as I stepped into high school,
was about explosions and not math.
Yeah. When we're in middle school, you learn about the school lab equipment. You do cool mixing this and this. You're like, whoa, I like chemistry. This is fun.
I can make water
and then in high
green.
school, you're just like learning so many formulas. I don't even remember them anymore.
I honestly don't remember anything I learned from chemistry either.
We did. I remember some of them. I just don't like it, man. Like, I don't even understand most of them. Like, I remember in high school.
Yeah.
Like, one of my lowest scores was in chemistry, and it was like a sort of like an exam we did, but not really, because we could like make these sort of like cheat sheets where we can write all the formulas in. But every time I face a question, I just don't know where to start, man. Like, well, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Like, I have this information on this small piece of paper, but like which one do I use first? Like, I don't even understand,
Okay, that reminds me of a funny story I have.
Oh, okay.
So,
go ahead.
It was back in middle school. We were taking a standardized test. I think it was the ISAT, for anyone who knows what that is. I think, maybe. I don't know. It was a math-based test, or at least the question I was working on. And it was like, what is the square root of 7 squared? And anyone with 2 brain cells would say 7,
Mm-hmm.
But I only had 1 brain cell at the time.
Oh my, okay.
I feel so dumb looking back, but it's hilarious. So what I did was I'm like, I don't know how to find the square root of 7 nice and easy, because my calculator doesn't have a square root button. So what I did was I was like, okay, it's probably like 2.6-ish. So I just did like 2.6 times 2.6. I'm like, okay, that's a little high. So I did like 2.5. And I'm like, okay, that's a little low. I'll do 2.55. And I kept doing that until I had like 2 and then like 7 digits. And I'm like, okay, I think that's precise enough. and that took me like 15 minutes. And then I multiplied it by itself, and it came in at 7, and I just looked at it for a solid second, and I'm like, I'm such an idiot.
Oh my god! What is hilarious? Well,
It was great.
How did you come up? Like, I'm gonna type in 2 point something instead of just, like. I mean, it's common sense now, but
Yeah.
probably at the time you're like, this makes no sense. I gotta work around it somehow.
I'm like, this is so. I don't know how to do what they're asking, but I'll figure it out. And then I figured it out, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, square root of 7 squared. It's obviously 7. I'm so stupid.
Obviously, yeah, obviously, clearly.
Yeah.
There's no doubt single doubt in my mind.
Not a single doubt.
Man, it's hilarious. I remember though, one of the most fun things in high school was in physics class. I'm not saying that I'm fond of physics. I don't like the counting.
What I
but
heard
I like
you say
the practical
was physics
stuff.
is my favorite every day, all the time. I have the best thing is physics. That's what I heard you say.
Yeah, that's definitely what I said.
Oh,
Anyways,
we got him.
One of the most fun things that I had with physics was in practical class, and I remember my teacher announced that we were going to make a water rocket, and I was like, "Ooh,
that sounds fun."
I know it's a lot of fun. So we would take these 2 liters, plastic balls for drinking water, and then glue wings on them using these like hard cardboard. Fill them with water, plug them up. There's like this whole thing using like balloons and stuff to make it pressurized. And then all you have to do is just pump water in it, and also using a bike pump inside the bottle until it bursts, until literally the cap of the bottle will like burst and explode. Ooh. And it will fly so high. I was like, whoa, that's insane! Yeah.
I'm gonna reach
can't exactly remember.
Orbit.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, my school was like at least 3 floor high, or 3 stories, and then my bottle went like, I don't know, like maybe around almost the 3rd. Like one of my friends' rockets went like flying. It went through the roof. One might say, literally. Oh man. And then he told us stories after the experiments were done, after the scoring. He told us like these stories about the past water rockets that was done by the previous like year above us. And apparently one guy was insane enough to use this. You remember the gallon thing that I told you about? How Indonesian's gallon is like really big, really big. Like we used, apparently one of the guys used that gallon for the rocket, and apparently it made such a mess, and they were like warned by the head of the school, and like, better not do that again.
Better not do that or no science.
Oh, it's so much fun. And then one of the things we did as well, we made a pop-up boat. So if you don't know what that is, have you heard of pop-up boat?
I've not. Pop-up boat?
Pop-up boat, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's a boat that made a pop-up sound, like pop, 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 pop. So it's basically, like the basic inner workings of it, it's a simple steam engine. To show basic us who's learning physics how a steam engine works. It's a steam engine. I mean, well, technically it is. Dang. So how it works is that you have this boat you make using a cardboard milk box, and then you would install a flag and whatever. But the main engine is basically a Coca-Cola can. We're not sponsored, but you could if you want to.
I mean, I wish.
a Coca-Cola can where you cut it in a sort of way, and then you glue both like piece of the can together, so it forms like this envelope, which
Okay.
should be vacuum, and then you would insert a straw in the envelope, like one going in and then one going out. Bada bing, bada boom. Fill it with water. Put it on the like what's it called? Put it on the water, like a lake or something. Last time I used like a big bathtub. Like the school had a big bathtub, so I would put that in there. And then, oh wait, no, we did that online. Never mind. That was like when online school hit.
Oh,
We
okay.
put that. I put that in one of the big like tubs that I had at my house, and then run it. So it's basically two straws at the back of the boat, one for water going in and one for water going out.
Okay.
Or not water, steam. So the
Yeah.
water would get sucked in because so like just below the envelope of the boat, the envelope of the Coca-Cola can, we'll put a candle there with lit fire. So
Yeah.
the fire would heat up the can filled with water, and then since the water boils up, the steam comes out the other end of the straw, pushing the boat
Yeah.
forward. But since the water goes out, or like technically the steam goes out, the inside of the envelope becomes vacuum, so it sucks water in, and it's just an infinite loop of steam engine, and it's so cool.
That's actually awesome. We never did anything like that.
Yeah, and this guy, my physics teacher is an insane man. He's also one of my favorite guys ever, favorite teachers ever.
Okay.
He's also very smart. He's an engineer, also learns physics, and very, very big brain. I gotta say, I mean, for him to come up with
Massive
that
brain.
as a physics school project is insane. Just to
That's
teach
an
us about
awesome
the
project.
steam engines. I know, and he also was the one who taught us to do the water rocket.
Oh. Well.
And then we heard from I heard from my like the juniors at my school that
Yeah.
apparently now they're doing a gravity car where you will drop a coin, or like it can be any weight basically, but he said that anyone who could use a coin would get an immediate 100 because it's so hard to do it. But if apparently if you drop said coin, it would like unroll a string which spins the wheel and it goes forward, which is really really cool. And then apparently this, what's it called? The gravity car can go up to 10 meters from just like dropping a little thing. That's insane, right?
Dang.
And I was
That's
like,
pretty
whoa,
cool.
that sounds also so much fun. Yeah. Okay, before I let you before I let it be your turn, because I've been talking
Yeah.
for so long now.
Yeah,
One last thing
gosh.
was, sorry, it's just so much fun to talk about
No,
school,
no.
man. What can I say? Like physics, also physics class. Again, this guy's such a fun guy.
Uh-huh.
Get it? Fun guy, and then no, never mind. What's it called? He one of the projects was like about balance and torsion, or like rotation. So he made us make a tower out of spaghetti. Dried spaghetti.
Sounds delicious.
So the one.
That sounds less delicious.
Well, you don't cook it. It's for a tower. So you have to
could cook
basically
it, though.
construct a tower that's of minimum 1.5 meters tall, or I think at minimum 1 meter tall, and then you'll get 100 if you reach above 2 meters, I believe. And you have to
Oh.
build it like with one
Out of
bag
dry
of
spaghetti.
out of dried spaghetti. You gotta make it, stable, because like after we've built it, we gotta take a picture of it and show proof that we did it, and we have to record a video of us like trying to gush it with wind, and it must not fall. If it falls, well, yeah, you fail the assignment. But
Uh-oh.
I managed to do it. I barely
Yeah.
managed to do it, actually. So my tower was horrendous. Let me tell you that much. But when I was
expecting a
like
beautiful
gushing
piece
it
of
with
art.
wind, I know it's like disgusting, but when I was trying to gush it with wind, it almost fell, and I was like, no, 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 no,
Oh
don't
no!
fall, and like, oh, okay, oh, it
Please,
didn't fall.
no!
Oh, we good. But yeah, that
Oh,
was like really, really fun times. But that was just only grade 10, by the way. So, we still got a lot of things to talk about. So I'll let you talk. How's it to be
okay.
grade 9 in high school?
So, I I think it's really interesting the like the what do you call the major system in
Uh,
your school? Majors? Is that what you called it?
it's called jurusan in Indonesian, but it's called major in English.
Okay, I think that's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
we didn't do that. That's not a thing we do here. At least I don't think it's a thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yet.
Yeah, yeah. Um, the way we the way high school is structured here is essentially you pick the classes you take. There are a few required classes like English and math, some science classes, some uh, totally forgot the last one. Uh, I probably didn't do it, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's some classes that are required by the state of Idaho and the United States to for that we need to take in order to graduate. However, the
Yeah.
rest of the classes, called electives, we are just free
Ah,
to
wait,
pick
that's the
those.
thing. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. So in science major, you have elective math,
yeah,
elective physics.
yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, that's the word. I completely forgot about that.
yeah, so we have elective classes, which are essentially whatever classes we're interested in or we need to take because we're behind. I wasn't behind. I was ahead because my middle school did something weird
Oh.
where um, they had two classes, or they had a class that counted as two classes, but only half the class because they did it really weird. I don't know why they did it that way, but like the first semester they
Interesting.
taught physical science, so like talking about like rocks and things like that. And then the second semester they taught another kind of science. I don't remember which one, but since that only counted as half a class, I didn't want to take half that class again. Oh, I think the second one was biology. So what I did was during the
Ah.
summer, I took an online class for the physical science, and then I took biology my freshman year, and I also took at the same time I took uh, ecology, I think, and then I didn't have to do science for my sophomore, junior, and
Oh.
senior years.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, I was also ahead in math because I was in algebra one. I think it was in middle school, so I was ahead
Wait a
of normal.
second.
Yeah,
So you have freshman, junior, sophomore, and then senior.
it's freshman, sophomore, then junior, and then senior.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, that's the 4 years. And then, if you're
Interesting.
bad at school,
Oh
or
no.
for another reason, and you have to go and you don't graduate your senior year and you have to go back another year, you are a super senior. And everyone thinks you're old because you are.
Are you super senior?
Now. I swear.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
no.
no, really, now. Are you like a just a senior or a super senior?
I've already graduated.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wait, when?
In May.
Oh, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess we're the same then.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, you
I've
may
been out of
continue
high
your
school for a
story.
while. Um,
Uh huh, me too.
so yeah, that's kind of the way that the school works. I mean, there's a lot of like the required classes. Um, most of them are like, okay, you're going to take health your sophomore year. You're going to take this math class your junior year. But then if you're
Uh
ahead
huh.
like I am, then you're like, what the heck do I do? because there's like 6 classes I've already taken that people my grade are supposed to be taking, and so I have nothing to do, and then I have to find something to do.
6 classes? That's it? 6?
Well, that was just a random number. We had 7
But
classes this semester.
still, 6? Really? That
6?
sounds so nice, man. What can I say?
No. It's we have 7 classes per semester, and there's a total of 8 semesters in your high school. So
But
I
but
don't know what that
uh,
adds up to,
uh,
but
uh, uh, s- that that's still so nice. 7 classes a semester. Still, this is a repeat of what we had in discussion in part 2.
yeah,
You can check
we
it out.
both know Indonesia has way more classes than the United States does.
And somehow we're
Somehow.
still like lacking behind America. So that's the thing.
Yeah, that's kind of strange, isn't it? Maybe
Yeah,
it's because you have more
we
classes.
we've been
Oh,
complaining for years. Like I literally mean years. Students from across the country have been complaining to government, like, Swiss. Look at America. Look at basically every other country who's now very modern.
look at the normal
They had
countries
way
who have
less lessons
normal
than
education.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then you can pick 6. So out of the 6, how many can you pick?
It depends on how many of your required classes you've taken. Normally, it was like, I don't know, like 2 or 3, 1 to 3
See,
classes that you could just pick.
look at this guy. He's having fun with
Oh
that.
yeah,
Like on my story just now.
yeah.
And that's actually like that's more than 4 required classes plus the major or like the elective stuff. That comes in a whole package. You can't just pick. Oh, I just want to learn just biology. Maybe you can't
Yeah.
do that. You have to pick the whole thing. Like science major, you got to take the whole thing.
Yeah.
The social
Get
studies major,
wrecked.
you got to take the whole.
Oh,
It's so annoying. Like, I don't want to learn chemistry. I don't want chemistry.
I did take chemistry, even though I was not required to, and I hated the class. And for some reason, took 2 semesters of it, even though I could have dropped it.
Interesting. Huh? Did you enjoy it? I mean, you did. Clearly, you don't enjoy it, but did you enjoy it as long as you did?
Not really. I mean, there was one time that was kind of amusing. Like there's only like 3 days that were like kind of like interesting, or not interesting, but like looking back, I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool. On Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
or the closest day to Halloween that wasn't a weekend, because I think it was a weekend that year, maybe. We blew up pumpkins, like literally exploded them.
Whoa!
With explosive
Imagine having
chemicals.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Halloween doesn't exist here. We might have to talk about that someday, but
Yeah, someday.
that sounds like a.
I don't know. We occasionally did a lab. I don't remember which the ones we did, but I do remember the fire starters were fun to play with.
Whoa! Did you make any elephant toothpaste?
No, we never did.
Ah, that's such a bummer. That's such a missed
It's such
opportunity.
a cool.
Man.
That's like the go-to high school experiment, and we never did it. I never
Yeah,
even
and you
dissected
did-
a frog or a worm or whatever.
That's
We
so
never
annoying.
did that, and I don't know what's up.
I dissected a fish when I was grade 2, I think, for science.
Yeah,
So that's like elementary, and that was pretty
yeah.
fun.
Here we do
I mean, it was
mostly
disgusting.
frogs.
Yeah,
I don't
poor
know.
frogs.
My sister did sharks once,
Whoa. Okay.
which
So
I thought
apparently,
Yeah.
since I only had 6 months, no, not 6, 7, 8 months of offline
Uh-huh.
school in my high school when I was grade 10, and the
Mhm.
rest of it, it's online.
cool.
Which is really sad because everyone, and I mean every single adult, here in Indonesia at least, would say that high school is one of the best experience you'll get, especially offline. And then COVID struck,
Yeah.
and we are like, well, I guess
Well,
we're screwed now.
so much for that.
So much for that.
It was nice knowing
Dude, it's so
you.
annoying. So apparently, in high school, you would
Yeah.
dissect a chicken, I believe, if I'm not
Oh.
wrong.
Fancy. Well, I have
And
chickens in my backyard if you want to come over. We can cut one of them
well,
open.
yeah. If only it wasn't so expensive to get there. Goodness sake.
It's just a flight to the United States.
Yeah, it's no big. I just have to sell my
It's
kidneys,
fine.
sell one of my eyeballs, and then I can probably maybe afford one trip and not be able to go back.
Well, but then you'd be in America and you get paid a lot more.
And then I'd be homeless and
That too.
disabled because I lose one eye and lose one of my kidneys.
That's also true. Anyways, education.
Yes.
High school was really fun. Actually, I enjoyed most of my
Do you have
classes.
any?
Not like the classes themselves necessarily, but like hanging with the people in the class.
Definitely, yeah. The friendships we make
Yeah.
along the way is one of the most
Yeah.
one of the best things that's happened. Like okay, this is interesting. Has
Mhm.
any drama ever happened in your school? Because I can bet you it has happened in my school.
There has been drama. Some of it
Oh,
is
are we
too
allowed to hear
extreme to talk about on this podcast.
Okay. How about the non-extreme but still interesting? Is there anything?
Well, there was a lot of relationship drama, which was honestly annoying to me, who was single
Well.
up until my senior year. My girlfriend also wants me to mention that we got together my senior year. So, there you go, girlfriend.
Did she specifically ask you to say that? Okay. That's
Well, she's been
interesting.
looking forward to this episode, and she's like, "Oh, are you going to talk about meeting me?" And I'm like, "Oh, probably, because you mentioned it."
Oh well, I guess I'll dedicate this last 7 minutes to just hearing out how you got together with your girlfriend.
No, we're
That's
talking about
interesting.
controversy. I'll talk about that in a bit. But the big one, there's a huge.
Oh.
There actually, yeah, there was a couple with the school district, but the big one with the high school, which I will not go into detail. There was this one guy, who did something extremely illegal, and
Oh no.
he's in jail now.
That's wait. I didn't think it when you said that. What? Excuse me?
Yeah, it was awful.
Okay.
Yikes! It was
Yikes.
intense stuff. Nothing violent.
Yeah.
Nothing during
okay.
school. But yeah.
So was he caught outside school then? Or
I don't know.
Well, what can you tell us about it? Is it something you can't talk about?
Well, I mean, I could talk about it, but I don't know if it's appropriate for the podcast. It wasn't like a violent crime. But yeah, he was
Okay. Well,
dealing in something illegal.
I can
and
already tell what you meant by that. So
it wasn't drugs. It was far worse. But
oh no.
yeah, he's in jail now. But yeah, that was.
Wait, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay then.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move right past
Yeah,
that.
we'll pass past that. But the other football teams, like the other schools, when we went to like a football game, yeah. But the other schools, when we went to football games, our rival, they kept bringing it up at the football game, like yelling it at us, like, "Oh!" And we're like, "Shut up!" But yeah, they're obnoxious anyway, so we kind of expect it. But they're our rivals.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, any drama happened at your school?
Oh no, it's not my turn. Well, again, high school. There's a lot of relationship drama, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Which I will not talk about because I promised the people who told me these stories that I will not talk about them. So I will not talk about them.
Yeah.
But there is a drama. Let's see. Well, it's not technically not a drama. It's more of a punishment story. So someone was late to school every single day, and they were like,
my best friend
warned. It didn't work. Oh. Your best friend was
I'll tell
late
you
every
about him
single
in a
time.
second.
Okay. All right. Well, this guy was late every single time. And one day the teacher's like, okay, we need a worse punishment because this clearly he's not learning anything. He hasn't learned the lesson. So they devised a plan. Which so in our country we have these laws, right, and ideology, and specifically for the ideology, which is called Pancasila, and it means basically five rules. Pancha is five, Sila is
Okay.
rules, I think, if translated, if I'm not wrong. Um,
Okay.
or like ideas or like dreams or whatever. And then you have to basically, if you come to school late after so many times, you have to recite all these five rules. And then after the fact, you have to recite, not recite. It's more like it's sort of like recite, but you have to sort of memorize it. It's like they'll give you the text, and then you have to repeat it in memorized form, and then you have to read or like recite, what's it called? So in our country's book of law, the prologue for the book of law, there was like these four what's it called? Four paragraphs written
Yeah.
by the country's like governments and stuff that you have to recite. And these four paragraphs aren't short, by the way. So
That sounds
you have to
incredibly
like
boring.
yeah, and they thought that would fix the problem, but
I
this
don't
guy,
think that's how it works.
you know, he bypassed that, man. I mean, like he probably had the thing memorized in his head. So, well, I guess he could keep coming late then.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
that,
that's that.
that sounds
I mean,
awful.
I don't know. I don't know how he's doing now after school's end, but that was the thing. And one of the other funny drama was when it's not technically not drama, right? It's a minor drama, I think.
Yeah.
The teacher was teaching, and then when
Uh-oh.
when it was online school. The teacher was teaching,
Yeah.
and then for some reason, like these group of friends, I'm not included, change all their profile pictures, virtual background, and like AI camera or whatever to
Okay.
their friend's face, which was hilarious.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it's. I don't know if I have no idea if it's a case of bullying or not. But at the time of when it happened, it's like, well, this is funny, and the teacher was like so confused, like, what is happening? Why is everyone having the same face?
That's funny. Like, that's actually funny. And I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
mean,
it's
I didn't
bullying unless
participate
they were making fun of his face while doing it.
unless they did, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they weren't. Like
They're
it
just
was
like, hey,
spreading like a
here's
plague.
Bob. We are all Bob
Like
now.
the first time, there's like 3 profiles changing, and then came 4, 5, 6, and then like most of my friends, on my in my classes group chat, it was like, "Hey, here's the image. Change your thing to this," and then it was like spreading
And
like
then it
a
all
plague.
went downhill from there.
It was hilarious. It was a fun afternoon after I was really sleepy with the class. Like, yeah,
That's
okay,
funny.
this guy, I guess that freshened me up.
Your story about your friend from earlier being late reminds me of
Mhm.
one of my friends. I will call him Hayden. That's not his real name, but I gotta give him a name. So Caden,
Mhm.
is one of, if not my best friend from high school. I still talk to him. But then again, that was only last year, so that's not saying a lot. Um,
What? Okay.
so he had some attendance issues. It's not like he skipped school or was late. He just got sick a lot. So that's not really a fault of his own. But plot twist, it was his fault.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He got sick. So he got sick, but it's his own fault for being sick. What?
Yeah. So what?
Interesting. Go
So
on.
he was gone. He was gone for like a couple weeks on end. A lot of time, like some of them were unrelated. But he was gone a good third of the time until like the last months, or like 2 or 3 months of school, when he suddenly wasn't absent at all, and we were like, oh, maybe he's just not getting sick, and then he realized he told us it was because he realized why he was getting sick, and we're like, oh, do tell.
Oh, okay.
And
On the cure.
it's so funny. So when he would often eat chicken, and when
Uh huh.
preparing the chicken, he would take the frozen chicken out
Uh
of the freezer, and he would leave it
huh.
on the counter for a few hours
What?
before before preparing it. And so,
Oh my! No, that's not
uh,
how you prepare chicken.
no, it's not. But I'm like, oh, Caden, of course you would do that. And we're all like face palming, like, oh my goodness, that's such a you thing to do, but that's hilarious still. And he's like, oh, I'm so stupid. And we're like, yes, you are, but we still love you. You know,
That's
it was
hilarious.
amazing. Uh,
That reminds me of a story from a neighboring podcast, which is Distractable,
yeah.
where I believe it was Wade, where he was telling stories about how he got a really, really, really bad diarrhea from
Oh,
eating this like very much expired meatloaf. It was funny. Oh my gosh. Well,
that,
anyway,
that's fun.
that was on that podcast when I was listening to it when I was sick actually when I got COVID.
Yeah.
That that brought me like smiles in the gloomy days of being sick. That
Smiles
was
in the gloomy days.
hilarious.
Uh,
Although when I was okay, let's see what's the like the worst thing I've done from for talking about
oh,
food. I guess when I was so in my school's canteen, there is a stand where they sold these fried soybean cakes. It sounds
okay,
fancy in English, but it's just tempeh in Indonesian. So
okay.
it's a really cheap food where they basically put these soybeans that's been fermentized,
Fermented.
right? That's the word. Fermented. That's the word.
Yeah.
And basically just put it in oil with some flour and egg, and then bada bing, bada boom, you get a fried soybean cake, and it's
Is
really
it good?
delicious. It's really good. It's one of, or if not my favorite food of all time.
Okay, I'm gonna have to
Like
try it
it
then, because it sounds like it's
it
gross.
it beats pizza. It beats
Really?
burger. I would literally have. I'd rather have tempeh
Ooh.
or these soybean cakes rather than having pizza. Like
Well,
no
I
joke,
really want
these
to
are
try it
really
now,
good.
because I love pizza like
Um,
a lot. Pizza's the best. I know it's stereotypically American, but I love pizza and hamburgers and
well,
fries.
one day when you come here to Indonesia, I'll definitely take you to the best pizza seller ever. Pizza. Wait, what?
Awesome.
Soybean cake seller ever. Not pizza. Hold on a minute. That's the wrong thing.
Well, we can also go to get pizza.
or yeah, or we
That
could
would
do
actually be
pizza.
interesting, going
Get
to
some pizza.
Indonesia and trying the pizza there, because it might be different than the pizza here in the U.S.
Definitely.
Or like
We can definitely
significantly
go to
different.
a tangent. We can do more of this food talk on an episode about
Yeah, this is about
tourism.
high school.
But yeah, and speaking of which, we're definitely all out of time for today.
Oh,
I gotta
we're gonna
say,
have to do
thank you,
another.
listeners, for dropping by. Oh yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
will do
I'm not done
a
talking
part
about high
4
school.
because we still got a lot of things to talk about high school. I think the next thing we when we do part 4, I think we should do it without stories or the catch
Yeah,
up stories in part
because
of the
we're
episode.
telling
'Cause I
stories the
think
whole time, anyways. So
yeah, we're still yeah, that's the whole thing about it. So
yeah.
I think part 4 will be full on story. So you guys better be ready for that.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, thank you, listeners, for dropping by to listen to Crossing Borders. This has been Joss and Sid. And don't forget to grab your passports on your way out. We hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.